Good evening to everyone present here. Thank you, John sir, for letting me have this interactive session. Today, I'm going to speak on hard work and commitment towards training. These two factors form the base of sporting excellence. But at first, we must understand why do we train? Why do we go through the rigorous training? Why do we get up when everyone is asleep? Why do we compromise on our lifestyle? Is it to pass time? Is it due to pressure? Is it to acquire a better course? Or is it to achieve that one true dream of yours? If it is to achieve your true goal, then you're on the right track. But now, remember, no matter what, you must not doubt yourself even for a second. No matter what people say, you must plant your feet in the soil like a tree and stay true to your goal. But what type of goal? You must have one super goal, say like winning the Olympics, but you must not plan way ahead in time. Sure, keep the goal in your mind and remember, you must lose sleep on your goal, but take baby steps and plan accordingly in weeks or months. Give yourself small and achievable targets, which at the end of the day will add up to your goal. But only thinking about your goal isn't good enough. You must get up and work towards it. And this getting up and working towards it is what you call training. Now, training is a diverse subject. Training can be associated with anything, but the three main things or parts are mental training, physical training, and diet. So these three form the DNA of successful sports people. But before I speak about mental training, let me start off by physical training. Physical training refers specifically to the hours that you spend from 5:30 to 8 in the morning and from 5 to 7:30 in the evening. It consists of all the physical activities like running, gym, stretch cords, etc. And all of us get the same workout as our fellow swimmers. Then, how come there is a variation in the timings? How come a few do exceptionally well? Well, these people put their minds into the training. They work smart. They are aware of their workouts and their effect. They give it their 100%. And as John Sir has been saying, a 99% of correct is equal to 100% of incorrect. Well, how's that possible? What does this mean? Well, this means that when you are training, nothing else should distract you. You must be 100% committed for what you're doing, or else you're doing it wrong. So that is what we are supposed to do, but this is what we actually do. We miss sessions due to muscle soreness. But mind it, pain is very different from an injury. Pain is good and an injury is bad. And if we have an injury, we don't speak to our coaches as though we have made a mistake, which in turn leads to further complications. That's why focus in the physical training is so important. But that's just the one third of the topics we're going to speak today. Moving on to the next topic, we'll speak about mental training. Your mind is the most important factor in your future. The ones who succeed are the ones who think they can. So, from what time does this start? Well, this starts but never stops. The only stop is your mental toughness, and this too plays an important role in training. Many of us during winter hate to get up at 4:45 in the morning. We just feel to tuck ourselves under the cozy blanket, and this is where our mental toughness plays an important part. You must find that one reason why you're doing this, that one thing that drives you, and get up and no matter what, go to the pool because that one morning that you miss will never come back. Other examples of bunking are bunking or missing easy or swim down. But we forget that the swim down plays an equally important and crucial role in swimming. Think of it this way, your body is a box TV. You keep using it for some time, and what happens? It heats up. And if you keep using it, it may lead to further damage. The same way, you need to swim a good amount of swim down in order to recover. Moving on to diet, the other one third of training. As swimmers, we have a stomach that can never be filled. We eat what we like and have a casual attitude towards it. But what we eat matters a lot. Think of it this way: all of us must be familiar with the supercar brands such as Ferrari or Lamborghini, right? Well, these supercars don't run on our ordinary fuel. They require a special racing fuel. The same way, don't put anything and everything in your stomach just because it tastes good. Instead, eat healthy and consume your favorite junk food once in a week or two. So, what are the problems we face during trying to eat healthy? We think eating healthy as a punishment, and we all know that we hate the teacher who punishes us, right? In this case, that teacher is swimming. All you need is a different perspective. Think that why are you doing this? You're doing this so that you achieve that one true goal in your head. And besides, you can have a day off for a cheat meal. In the last, I'd like to conclude with a few lines and quotes from a movie. Some people can read War and Peace and come away thinking it's a simple adventure story. Others can read the ingredients of a chewing gum wrapper and unlock the secrets of the universe. So, this says that all you need is a perspective and will, because there is no alternative for hard work. You need to put your mind, soul, and heart into training. You must be mentally present as well as physically. Don't give up because others say it's impossible. They're saying it because they're afraid to see the complete picture. The great Mark Spitz once said, "The only side effect of too much training is you get better in shape." Don't take a day off because your triceps hurt. It'll hurt more when you lose a medal. Don't take a day off because your relatives had to attend a marriage. They will still continue the ceremony with or without you. Don't bunk sets because you may trick your coaches, but you'll never be able to trick yourselves. At the end, you are going to be the one who loses out. Don't take a day off because it's raining. There are people who get to train in the sun on the other side of the world. And besides, what will happen if you swim in the rain? It's not like you're going to get wet. All you need is that one reason for which you are ready to do whatever it takes. Because guess what? If I make an excuse today to bunk training, I'll find an excuse for tomorrow. Work so hard with all your dedication that nothing stands in your way. Train your mind to become like that of a lion and not that of a deer. Because when a deer sees a lion, it thinks, I may die today. But what a lion thinks is that I must kill it so that I don't die. The same way, whenever there's a hard set in front of you, think how you will feel once you achieve your goal. The pain is just temporary. You won't even remember it the day after. And there is a saying amongst the US SEALs: better bleed in training rather than dying on the battlefield. That's why all you need is the will that says, I got what it takes. And a motivational video coming up from a person who was arrested and now is a part of the Olympic team.
In my 35 years of being alive, this is the most vivid memory I have. I will never forget this moment. I walk into Nate's room, I said, Nate, I need a sleeping bag. I said, bro, I'm sleeping on the street tonight. For the next 6 months, I slept on the street. I slept behind dumpsters so people couldn't find me. I slept in dirt fields so people couldn't find me. If I was lucky, I got a Motel 6. If I was luckier, I got somebody's couch to sleep on. Something I said I would never do was put a needle in my arm to use drugs. I've never been so ashamed of myself. I've never felt so much guilt in my life than when I was homeless. On January 22nd, I was arrested in a home that I broke into. 30 days later, I was sentenced to 4.5 years in prison. And I told myself, I'm just smoking weed one time, that's it. This whole becoming homeless thing, losing all my friends, that'll never happen to me. I remember when I got to prison at Wasco State Prison on D Yard, cell 254, I had the top bunk. I walk into my cell, I lay down on my bunk and I look up in the ceiling. Somebody had written this quote with a pencil in the ceiling. It said, be careful what you think, because your thoughts become your words. Be careful what you say, because your words become your actions. And I kept reading it over and over and over and over. It was making so much sense to me. So I set 4 goals while I was in that prison cell. I said, when I get out of here, I'm gonna race BMX professionally. I'm gonna go to the Olympics. I'm gonna become a professional speaker. I'm gonna start a nonprofit organization called the Free Will Project, but I didn't know how I was gonna go from a prison cell to the Olympics. So I told myself this after learning a really valuable life lesson, and that valuable life lesson is this: if you could be trusted with little, you'll be trusted with much. I told myself I'm gonna learn how to brush my teeth, but I'm gonna treat brushing my teeth like it's going to the Olympics. Then I learned how to make my bed. After I learned how to make my bed, I learned how to organize my stuff. After I learned how to organize my stuff, I learned how to physically train hard every single day in prison without taking any days off. If you want to be successful, work that routine every single day and sacrifice everything else that doesn't fall into your routine. I remember being at Tehachapi State Prison, 17 degrees outside, snowing on the yard. I can't take a day off because it's snowing. It's not snowing on the other side of the world right now. Somebody's getting to train in the heat. If I find a reason to take a day off today because it's too cold, guess what? When it's too hot, I'll find a reason to take a day off then. So I was done making shortcuts. I was done making excuses. I was going to work hard every single day and focus on my dream and focus on my gift. I paroled prison December 13, 2008. After 2 years of being in prison, hadn't touched a bike in 7 years. I took 3rd place. That first year, I won 5 races at the lower pro division, and I moved up to the Olympic level in 2010. In 2011, I made 6 finals before I blew my knee out. And I had to have knee surgery that caused me to not be able to race BMX professionally anymore. And I was crushed because my biggest dream was to go to the Olympics. But I told myself, keep brushing your teeth, keep making your bed, keep organizing your stuff, stay focused. You'll find the reason that you blew your knee out. I started coaching BMX athletes in 2012. By 2016, my coaching had went from nobody wanted me to coach them to having 3 national champions, 2 world champions, and 25 athletes from Australia to Bolivia. In 2016, in July, I got a phone call from my top female athlete, Brooke Crane. She said, pack your bags, Hoff. You're going to the Olympics. I made the Olympic team, not as an athlete, as a coach. When I got off the plane, I started crying. I'll never forget when I got to the BMX track where the Olympics was going to be raced. I started crying because I was so overwhelmed with gratitude. I worked so hard and sacrificed so much and gave even when I wasn't getting paid for it because I believed in my gifts. It doesn't matter how gifted you are at something, you're going to fail 1,500 times before you actually get to see your dream the way you see it. And if you don't learn how to fail and get back up, you're never going to get to where you want to go in life. I came here to tell you, one choice can change the rest of your lives.
So, what did we learn? First, there's no alternative for hard work. You will fail 100 times, but that just means you found 100 ways how not to do it. You just need that one moment to succeed. No matter how painful the workout is, don't quit. Find that voice inside you that says, I'm going to do it. I got what it takes. Because the ones who win are the ones who think they can. Thank you.